Good afternoon, fellow RC researcher. So, in today's video, I will walk you through how to construct the scores for the 7 RC dimension, frequency of communication, timeliness, accuracy, problem solving, communication, and is the relationship based on shared goals, shared knowledge, and mutual respect, as well as the total RC index and the rest of the variation for the RC indices. So before we begin, the RC scores are a simple averaging of the total score reported by all of the participants. So as you can see here in this equation, um, each participant will have to report on their experience with the frequency of communication, the problem solving, with others in the roles, as well as others that doesn't share the roles. Um, and now I will shift to the statistical data set, the one that have been available for you at the RC Help Desk website. And you will just open the syntax that is provided to you as well. And we will just create new variable for each one that is the aggregated average for the reporting experience by all of participants. And I was just like, run the syntax. Here we are in our data set. For all of you that are first comer, the RC survey is based on a 7 dimension, 7 question. And to create the total RC index, we have to create an average for all of the scores of each of the dimension. As you can see, I'm using the alpha command. It does create a generalized average for all of the dimension, but it gives you something extra as well. It gives you the reliability coefficient, the Cronbach alpha coefficient. As you can see here from the sample data set, it's 0.89, which is pretty high. Usually, if you have a Cronbach alpha above zero point 0.7, your dimension predicted this latent variable that is relational coordination. And then now we have the generalized overview of the scores in our data set, but to better have understanding of how each of the roles differ, we create a different relational coordination, a total score for each of the roles. And for all of you that have been new to this data set, it's a sample data set that had 6 roles: physicians, physician assistant, and lab technician, and frontline desk worker, the practice manager, and a centralized research office that helps facilitate the quality assurance within the practices in the sites. So I would like to know now what are the relational coordination reported based on the roles of each of the of in my workplace. So I will create a new variable for each of the roles, and it's just a row mean. And then I've mentioned this before. If sometimes the research have shown us that when you are reporting about your peers, those who share your job, your profession, your role, they actually have different reporting than when we report about others that we don't know much about the roles or we don't share the roles. And I will give you a very concrete example. So, for example, nurses. Nurses have one of the highest internal relational coordination because basically they have inherently shared knowledge. They understand each other work, the responsibility, the burden. They need to have, they most likely have shared goals. They can shift smoothly between workloads, and they help each other achieve that workload. It's a team building by default, usually. So, by understanding that internally you will have this inherently given shared knowledge because all of the participants that share the same role actually perform the same job, that give them an advantage. And it is expected that within a role, the internal reporting about our peers is extremely high compared to the reporting about others who don't share our roles. Um, and in our data set, we have invited 5 out of the 6 roles to participate in our survey, uh, which are based locally in the clinics: the doctor, the front desk operator, the lab technician, the physician assistant, and the practice manager. So to create the RC internal, I will just create a blank relational coordination internal variable. I'll just run that, and it's blank, it's missing all of them. And then I will start to replace each one of them by the RC of that role reported by a participant who are within this work group. So for example, here we have physician that are the work group number 1. And for all of you that have seen the second video, I like to have my data set shifted from string to numeric, because it's easier to create the codes with numbers instead of having the quotation and the label, and make sure that the pronunciation and the spelling of the words are accurate. Um, so I will just run the second command, and I'm replacing the missing blank variable with the RC of the role when it's reported by the participant within that role. And then I will go again and do the same for others. Here we are. And this is the RC internal. Finally, the final RC index that we usually calculate is the RC external, which is how participants reports aggregately others, their experience with others, total relational coordination experience with others. And you practically calculate the average of all of the RC scores from all of the group except the group that the participant belongs to. And you can see here, I will just start as the previous one, creating a new variable. And then I will go on and have an average for all of the RC work group, and I divide them. So I have 6 work groups. I have 5 reporting work groups, but I have 6 work groups. And I just remove the work group that is belonging to the participant, which is the physician in the first row, in this example row. And I will just do the same for the others. By now you will have, now I will just close the data set and show you what I have created, the variables that I have created. And here we are. So you can see here that I have now created the frequency, the total frequency of the participant with others that share the roles and others that don't share the roles. This is an overall frequency of communication, overall frequency, timeliness of communication, similarly for the other 7 dimension. And then I have created the total RC index, which is very strong diagnostic tool. It's one score that gives you 360-degree evaluation of the relational coordination between the participant, the respondent, and others in their workplace. It's very powerful. And then I've created a variable that is an RC specifically for each of the roles: RC physician for each of the 6 roles that we have, even RC researcher. They have not been asked to report in this survey, but participants were asked about their relationship with them. And then I've created those 2 variables: RC internal, which is how the respondent experience RC with others that share their own profession or their role, and RC external, the RC experience of the respondent with others that don't share their role or their profession. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video, where we will discuss the validity of the RC score and how to evaluate that. Thank you.